Last season, after most games, I simply couldn't see the vision. But after this one, even in defeat, I could see a little bit of something. I'll admit I was worried when I saw that starting lineup. No Ahmad at wing back, it looked very defensive. I thought we were going to sit back in that 5-4-1 and play on the counter. But how wrong was I? The tables were completely turned in that regard.
Well. How the turntables...
United came out, they were aggressive from the off. Amorim's system allowed us to play on the front foot for the majority of the game. It was a goalkeeping error that did really change the game for United. For me, that's not a free kick. If you're going to start giving out free kicks for that, then you're giving out a free kick every single time the ball comes in. What you saw in the opposition box was David Raya in exactly the same situation. De Ligt onto him, Raya punches that ball clear. For me, the United goalkeepers simply need to be stronger. And in terms of United overall, it wasn't perfect, but we do seem a believer and a competent goalkeeper away from being a very competitive team now. If, and it's a big if, United can carry this performance into our next games and we can find our feet in front of goal, then we might be in for a decent enough season. What did we do so well in this game then? Well, in the build-up. It's been spoken about a lot now for the last few months. Amorim was even asked about it in his pre-match press conference. There were a lot of long balls for United in build-up, yes, but we know that Amorim doesn't mind that, and they did largely work in this game. Plus, we even saw the centre-back making some nice bounce passes to evade that press. What I will say before I show some game slides, Arsenal didn't really press us that hard. I was expecting a lot worse from them. So we're going to get tougher tests in that sort of pressing regard and how United play out. But there was a couple of very good instances that I noticed. Yoro going back into the goalkeeper. You can see this time around, De Ligt is in midfield. Fernandes drops a little bit deeper this time around. It was either Casemiro or Fernandes going into that sort of deep midfield position. They both marked. But what you can see, Fernandes runs deeper towards the goalkeeper. Fernandes plays that bounce pass out wide. Yoro has a lot of space to run into. United are out of that initial press. A little later on, this time around, it's De Ligt. He's the one, makes that run in towards that goalkeeper, plays that bounce pass into Yoro. Yoro again has that space to evade the initial Arsenal press. De Ligt was much better. Amorim spoke about, obviously, that centre-back before this game. But this, I think, is what Amorim ideally wants. Doesn't want anything that risky, but to play that bounce pass when it's on. And it did work a couple of times for United in this game. A lot of Amorim's build-up isn't going to be pretty, but I saw Thomas Frank being praised on Match of the Day for that directness in build-up, going into the forwards. United did that in this game, so why can't we praise them as well? And to be fair, you can see why United did go out and get those new 10s. They do just seem more suitable to making that ball stick than what we had last season. Obviously, if you're looking at the likes of Rashford, Garnacho, they're not going to win you that many balls higher up the pitch. And Mbeumo and Cunha did a lot better for United in this game. But I'm going to show some instances of the longer balls that worked in this one. You can see Gyökeres, number 14, pressing on by Inder. And to be fair to Inder, I've spoken about him obviously for the Arsenal goal. But apart from that, his passing in this game, thought it was actually very good. But a longer ball out this time into Mason Mount. He makes that ball stick. Obviously, this is an instance where you could easily lose that ball. But I'm not saying it's perfect. But he does make something happen. For then we are able to play the ball then into Mbeumo. Just from getting that second ball, getting that knockdown. And Mbeumo is through onto Arsenal's box. Gets a goal scoring opportunity from it. And this is an instance where United, you can create those sort of false transitions playing this Amorim way. And on this one, again, Gyökeres making that bend and run into Inder. Notices, obviously, Fernandes is in a little bit more space in the middle of the pitch. Plays a very nice ball through the centre into Fernandes. Another pass, and Mbeumo, again, is up onto Arsenal's box. So in two passes, United have gone from the goalkeeper to Arsenal's box. So these long balls did work a lot of the time in this game. Another one here, this time is De Ligt. Out to Mbeumo, and Mbeumo again makes that ball stick. Forces Calafiori to bring him down, gets him booked. In the second half now, Inder finds Fernandes in the centre. Again, another nice take. You're through, you can pass it out wide, and then you've got that 4v3 on Arsenal's back line. So you're using that sort of man-to-man press that a lot of teams do. You can use it against them to create these sort of transition opportunities. Last one now, Bayender into Cunha. Cunha takes a very, very nice touch, manages to evade the Arsenal defender, and then he again is running onto that back line. We saw a lot of these opportunities for United to use those ball carriers. It was just that final little bit in around Arsenal's box that didn't quite click for us. But once it does, then it's good signs.
Naughty, naughty, you teasing me, you naughty, naughty.
And now, while I've praised United's front players, Cunha and Mbeumo and Mount were all very sharp in this game. But the numbers in the box has to be addressed. Obviously, we expect Seshko to be starting soon, so that will help. But even so, he can't be the only one providing that box presence. Others need to make themselves available, and United need to learn to occupy the opposition box a little bit better. It's still everything is a little bit frantic. You're relying a bit on those transition opportunities. Check out on my latest videos for the troubles that United had last season on this topic as well, because this issue has been there for a while now. Someone like a Rooney comes to my mind in these opportunities for United. He was a master of linking play deep, but then also finding himself in very, very good positions in the opposition box as well. Cunha and Mbeumo, they will need to learn to do that, to get themselves in and around that 6-yard box at times, to make themselves available, and they'll score some goals for United this season. What we were seeing regularly, got a few instances from the game. This time, Mbeumo and Dalot, lovely link-up play. Dalot was slightly offside, but you can see when he's going to cross this ball in. Absolute tumbleweed in that box. Again, with this instance, Dogu does take the shot, but he's got no other option. He can't really cross that ball in. He could wait a little bit. Dogu is a tad rash at times, but again, absolute tumbleweed in that box. And this last one I'm going to show a little bit later in the game with Dogu again. He's going to cross this ball in. Again, absolute tumbleweed in that Arsenal box. The Arsenal defender clears it easily. United just didn't have enough people in and around there. It's the trouble you're going to have playing that false nine. Mount dropping deep. Cunha likes to drop a little bit deeper. And Mbeumo likes to have the ball to feet a little bit deeper. They all have the same tendencies. Seshko did improve things, making some runs on that Arsenal back line when he did come on. I do expect Seshko to eventually start, but I wouldn't be surprised if Amorim sticks with the false nine for some games this season. But if we do, then these United players need to learn when is the right time to get in that Arsenal box as well. You can't all just come to feet constantly. The biggest worry I've got now is that this was a big, massive game for United. Opening day of the season at Old Trafford, and every United player was up for it. The biggest test of this culture reset now is going to be how you perform when you're going away to the likes of Fulham next weekend. Can you bring the same level of intensity? Can you bring that same level of sharpness? If you do, then we're going to win, obviously, a lot more games than we did last season. That's not hard. But United should be in for a decent enough run. I was worried going into this game, but United, they did prove me wrong because they at least provided a lot of front foot action up against a very good team. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. As always, guys, drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new around here. I'll catch you in the next one.